Hey guys, it's that time again. This time around, I want to review one of my favorite superhero shows, and you see me use this one quite a bit in my mashups. This one is called Tiger and Bunny. And no, it's not a little kid's show before you ask. I mean, I know the title's a little deceiving, and boy, is it, but it's actually a pretty good show. Tiger and Bunny is an anime that came on about from 2010 to 2011, made by Sunrise Studios. It's a superhero anime that follows Kotetsu Kaburaki, aka Wild Tiger, who is more or less of a fading hero of the time. And in this universe, and they have a city called Sternville, which is like literally this huge conglomerate of like probably like a bunch of cities in one. It's like a really creative idea. And here, superheroes are called Next, and it's a little bit reminiscent of X-Men. There's a little bit of X-Men influence in there, where people just start showing up with powers some time ago, and they have to kind of turn the using the superpowers into kind of like a business deal. It's in this universe, you have like a set group of heroes who work for a thing called Hero TV. And Hero TV is sort of like a reality show and partial game show where a couple superheroes working for different companies and have their sponsors on their armor, which you probably can't see on Netflix, depending on if they removed it or not. And they catch criminals and stop evil, and they get filmed doing it, and they earn points. And the more people they catch, or the people they save, and they advertise, the higher their points go. And then at the end of the year, they have this thing called King of Heroes, and that person's, I guess, the champion for the year until next one reigns. And at first, I wasn't so sure about it. I mean, I know it says superhero, but I didn't know this even existed. I had never heard of it until I saw it pop up on Netflix. And I watched the first episode, and I thought it was really, really good. First episode, I wanted more. I thought it was hilarious. It was sort of tongue in cheek with Marvel, because you can see a lot of influences from Marvel and DC superheroes. And after the setting has been established, Kotetsu is kind of on the brink of being fired because the studio he worked for had been bought out. So now he's kind of looking for another job. And then this new company, I think it's Apollo Justice, they hire him, and they also pair him with Barnaby Brooks Jr., who's a brand new hero, and who's also, I should mention, is voiced by Yuri Lowenthal, who's the voice of Ben 10, which was a great bonus. He's paired with Kotetsu as a brand new duo, and to drive up more ratings for mostly for Barnaby, because the studio doesn't even really care about Tiger. It's just like whatever, to just keep him on because they have to. And it's supposed to be just a story of them learning to work together as a team, because Kotetsu always goes for the, I guess, the old-fashioned trust in your gut and, saving the day and people's life matters. While Barnaby's more about, looking good while saving the day. How many points can you rack up? How popular can you get? And as the show goes on, you get to see more in depth of all the characters, mostly for Kotetsu, because it's pretty much his show. And it's a little funny in the irony, because the show likes to think that Barnaby is going to be the favorite because of how he's designed, and I'm kind of laughing like, sure. And no, he's not the fan favorite. It's mostly Wild Tiger, for obvious reasons when you get into it, because you just end up loving Kotetsu's personality. He's just a really fun, lovable, endearing character. He's a great dad. He's a hard worker, even though he screws up a lot. He always tries his best, and everybody loves an underdog. So yeah, he's an underdog, and he's just a really fun character to have in the show. And among the other characters, you have Blue Rose, Dragon Kid, Fire Emblem, Rock Bison, Origami Cyclone, and Sky High. And pretty much all the episodes just coincide with just doing the job of being on TV and saving the day while racking up points and earning my popularity. And then as the show goes on, it kind of delves into, are they truly heroes because they have sold out to companies for profit, kind of like with My Hero Academia, with the similar question. Because it's kind of like My Hero Academia before My Hero Academia was made. And, they introduce anti-hero, anti-villain named Lunatic who kind of questions the hero society of what is truly a hero. Why do you let people get off? Why don't you just kill the enemies and bad guys and eradicate them for good? And it clashes with Kotetsu's point of view, which is similar to me, like the Flash, where he wanted to save the people, even the ones who did bad and did the crimes. He didn't want them killed. He just wanted them, a chance to reform and do better or to stop from harming people. And that becomes a big play within the show. There are about 26 episodes, and the show split up into like 2 parts, but it's really 1 season. It's available on Netflix when you want to see it because it's a really, really great show. And there's a lot of influence from Marvel and DC. Like for Barnaby, his character is almost a duplicate of Bruce Wayne. I mean, from the backstory with his parents, and he's rich, and he's a billionaire, and he's famous. He has super alter ego, only he doesn't look like a bat. It even got like a Joker and Harley Quinn reference in there later on, as you'll see. And Tiger is a little bit like Iron Man in a way with the suit and his style. He kind of reminded me of Iron Man quite a bit, which is why I used him as Iron Man when I rebooted my Marvel movie franchise. But for the show itself, I think it's really, really great. And if you're worried about being blood and violence, there's a lot of action, some violence, but there's actually no blood. If there is, it's very, very little, so you don't have to worry about being graphic or gory. It's really, most of the time, it's a super fun show, and you can't help just laughing at all the antics that happen. But there is a story there with the organization called Ouroboros, which you'll find out later, had to do with Barnaby's parents, and it really delves into a pretty big story when it gets towards the end, which I can't spoil for you because it gets really, really good when it gets near to that arc involving Kotetsu, because we just ended up binge watching that thing like near the end. And as for the show itself, like I said, I think it's a really great show. I really, really love it. There is a 2nd season coming. It just took like 8 years for them to do it, but yes, they've announced they're going to do another season. There's a live action movie coming, which I'm not really excited about because after Full Metal Alchemist, I don't really have that much enthusiasm for it. There's a spin-off called Double Decker, which I haven't really seen, so I can't really give a review on that. But the first episode was kind of meh, but maybe it gets better. It's in the same universe as Tiger and Bunny and serves as a prequel. That's not on Netflix, but I'm pretty sure they might have it on YouTube. You can check. But for the show itself, I consider it to be one of the best superhero shows, one of the best anime. It's really, really great. I definitely recommend it to any superhero fan. And like I said, if you're worried about it being violent or gory, it doesn't get like that. I mean, the worst thing I think happens is someone gets burned alive, and that's it. There's no blood, there's no gory things, there's like a little bit of like pushing the radar stuff in there with some particular hero's costume and some dialogue, but really, it's very little. Because the show can pull off some great comedy, like when they have to babysit the mayor's son, and some really dark storylines involving Kotetsu and Ouroboros and stuff when it gets later on. So I absolutely recommend Tiger and Bunny on Netflix. You can watch it anytime. Absolutely, positively recommend it. There is 2 movies. There's one called The Beginning, which is just like the first 2 episodes pushed together with a new story at the end. As sort of like an in-between. And then there's The Rising, which takes place after the show is done. So if you do watch Tiger and Bunny, do not watch The Rising until the show's over, until you finish it, or else you will be spoiled. And I recommend like buying the movie because that's easier to get on there than online. So, if you have seen Tiger and Bunny, you gotta let me know what you think of it in the comments below. And if you kind of want to see some more Tiger and Bunny videos from me, if you want, because I mostly used it for the mashups. So, thank you so much for watching, and let me know if you have seen this show or you are really excited to see it, and let me know what you think, because I really love for you guys to see it, especially you, Dudley. Later.